Hi, welcome back to the 10th episode of Reading Between the Lines with Tanaman. Today I have with me Tushar, who's the founder of FiEx Global, which is a competitor to OpenSea. Tushar, it's great to have you with us today.
Thank you very much, Dan. Thank you very much for having me here.
Absolutely. And it's our pleasure to have you. So let's get right into it. Tushar, why don't you give us an introduction about yourself?
Dan, my name is Tushar Gandotra, based out of Gurgaon. Around almost 18 years of experience in technology and marketing both. Have been into business since almost 10 years now. Uh, since 2016, I have been working in the crypto landsphere. I mean, in the marketing ICOs, we have seen the ups and downs of the industry. And currently working on my own startup called FiEx Global, which is basically to do a lot more to a decentralized hybrid world, along with uh, a marketplace ecosystem for people who are 3D creators of things. So anybody who's creating 3D products for any kind of metaverse, it's a marketplace for them where they can sell, buy things for it.
Absolutely, Tushar. So we'll come at FiEx Global, but what I'm interested in is what shapes the personal background of Tushar for 18 plus years that brings him to the point in 2022 where he starts FiEx Global. Talk me through your personal learnings and experiences and background over the past 18 plus years that has brought you to this point where you've started FiEx Global.
Okay. So I'm an MBA by education. I'm basically from a small town, not town, it's a small city actually. Some bigger than a town, but it's a small city, a tier three. I went to Pune for my post graduation education, and I saw a lot of difference between the education which we have received in our city compared to the people who are coming from the metros or some better cities where there was better education. There was a major difference in the exposure level, the thing. So uh, the things which came to me very difficult in terms of the personal confidence of the stage, or rather English speaking as well. So that came very difficult for a person like me who came from a tier 3 city compared to anybody who did their education from a metro. The pedigree was different, the exposure was different. But that's how it is, that's how you learn. So learned a lot of things. After my education, my post graduation, I joined a software company called Red Hat, which is an open source leader for enterprise operating system. uh, I joined them as a business analyst, did a lot of work on their knowledge management platform, which was basically a legacy solution, which was there for a long time for a knowledge base. So my first work was to upgrade that entire knowledge base to a latest supported product from some other company. I am probably one of the few initial people from India who got a certification on Google Search Appliance. I went to Chicago to get that certification done. So that's a unique hardware which Google sells to enterprise customers for their internal searches, exactly same using the Google algorithm. So I am probably one of the few people in that time who got certified on that hardware. Uh, Very interesting journey in technology. Worked with technology development team across the world. Worked from home for a long time. Working from home uh, was a very casual thing in the company because it was a global company. Their culture was different, so it was a very casual thing, but it wasn't a common thing in India. So I went to my hometown. I worked from that hometown for a long time, and people around me probably they thought that he has no job, he doesn't work, he just stays in the house the whole day. He leaves the house in the evening, comes back in the night, and don't know what kind of person he is. But nobody understood what working from home is. I worked from home for a long time, dedicatedly. I mean, I never saw the time when I was working. So uh, I would consider myself very hardworking that point of time. Probably I am not compared that with that energy anymore. Uh, but did a lot of interesting projects when I was in that company, and the urge of learning more, knowing more things, that got me to resign from the company and go on my own on to start some interesting experience. So that's where I started a company into knowledge management. The first name was Hydrocarbon Information Exchange, because we thought we will do conference only in the hydrocarbon industry. So uh, did that for a long time. We have done a lot of very interesting conferences, workshops, trainings for oil and gas in different countries like Mexico, Venezuela. We have done a lot of work with Venezuelan companies of oil and gas, Oman, Abu Dhabi, a lot of different interesting things, interesting companies. So a lot of events happened at that time, and then eventually recession happened on oil and gas. I don't know if you know, in 2000, around 2014-15, the price of oil crashed from $135 to I think $32 or something. So that was a major fall for the oil and gas industry. Everything was shattered, and that's when we changed the name to Information Exchange Group. So because we did not want to just work on the hydrocarbon side of things, so that's how we evolved. We started venturing out into different industries. We have done aviation, healthcare, hospitality, retail management, uh, even crypto for a long time. So we have done now, if I look back, it has been a very interesting journey of doing a lot of conferences, meeting a lot of very interesting people, the vice presidents, CEOs. I mean, how humble they are, looking at their lifestyle. A lot of interesting changes I have seen, which has made me who I am now. I mean, uh, I've met the vice president of ADNOC. ADNOC is Abu Dhabi National Oil Company. I met the president very briefly, but vice president more. So his office is probably bigger than my house. Uh, but they are so humble, so down to earth. Fantastic meeting those people. The learnings you get out of these conversations, very interesting. So that's what has made who I am right now. All those experiences, the ups and downs, I have seen the highs, I have seen the lows. That's what made me who I am right now.
Sure. So, Tushar, you said that you come from a tier three city. You've lived in Pune, you now live in Gurgaon. So I asked this question to a lot of people who lived in different countries, but as we all know, India is like one European Union put into one country, right? Um, so Tushar, let me ask you this question. As you've lived in three cities, right? A tier three city, Pune, and now Gurgaon. So as you perhaps draw from your conclusions of three different cultures within India, how do you see Web3, Metaverse, and crypto adoption and enthusiasm in all these three cultures from your friends or your friend circle?
Uh, See, I'll give you one very basic example on what I think about the metaverse. So, although metaverse is a concept of things, all right, people think about a different world, but at the end, if you look at it on a very abstract level, they are all apps, all right. So you will be using some app to enter some metaverse, some other app to enter another metaverse. So all these will be apps which might or might not be interoperable. This is for the long term thing. So if you consider these apps now, people from tier 3 or any village as well, they are comfortable using apps, so they know what an app is, how to use an app. So eventually when the metaverse uh, hype is not there, but people consider it a normal way of interaction, then it will be very easy for people to adapt. And technology has grown. You go to any village, you will see people having touch screen phones at their disposal, which wasn't there probably 10 years ago. Uh, Now the technology penetration and the internet access, that has made a lot of difference in the country like India. Uh, Everybody has come to, I mean, the same level of things. Everybody has the same access to data. Everybody has the same access to knowledge. Uh, the exposure level has changed. I come from Jammu, by the way. So I'll give you an example. Now there are Instagram influencers in Jammu. There are people in Jammu who have more than 1 million followers. uh, I don't think that's the population, but they still have a lot of followers outside their outside the city. The technology, the integration of new technology has made a level playing field for a lot of cities now. Although opportunity changes basically, the the pace of life changes when you talk about a metro city and a tier 3 or tier 2 city. Mostly it is about the pace of life. A tier 3 city would be sleeping, I mean, everything will be closed by probably 10. A metro city will be available 24/7. You go to any place, you will find things. Now uh, that the physical difference is there, but the exposure has been a level playing field because of the social media, because of the internet penetration. So uh, I believe that this has brought all the levels of the country to a same uh, chance or same kind of opportunities, although there will always be some difference. But the cities are growing. A city like Jammu is becoming a smart city. uh, there are so many new things happening. uh, Imagine, I mean, the red lights are going to be automated soon. There will be more number of challans to people. There are companies, startup companies who are building such AI solutions. Uh, everything. I mean, it's like a downpour of things. So when you start pouring, I mean, the first thing starts filling, it pours down to the other one. That's what's happening. So eventually, everybody will have similar access to things, similar approach to a way, and then it's for them to understand what kind of pace they want in their work, fast or slow. And then that's how people will decide what cities they can live. I mean, people are going to smaller cities to live in because of the after the pandemic, the work from home, the hybrid way of working with things. It's easier for people to spread across India and get the same level of access about things than to be just clustered in one place, making it more uh, complicated, more traffic difficult. You see the situation of Bangalore, you see the situation of NCR. I mean, too many people are there, too much pollution. Things have to improve, and I think people are getting smarter with the new access to information, the new way of campaign creation. It's reaching a lot of people which have never had this kind of information before.
Sure. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you think what's being discussed is nice and you'd like to join the discussion, please comment below. And if you'd like to stay updated, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you. As we are talking, and I presume you're alluding to both Web3 as a technology catering and Metaverse catering towards the Bharat of India, um, which is for our non-Indian viewers, which means empowering the rural India to grow as fast as urban India. Um, Essentially, do you then presume Web3 as being a technology that empowers people to get on the socio-economic ladder on the same pace as their urban counterparts?
See, Web 3, Web 2, they are concepts, right? So if you talk about Web3, I mean, making things better on a city level, I don't think that's the right perspective. I think uh, talk about technology. So Web3 is a kind of technology. All right, it's a framework actually using different technologies to achieve certain goal. So if these things are going, so okay, I'll put it in a different way. If you consider blockchain a part of Web3, every mobile is associated in one form or the other with SMS. Everybody who has mobile, they get access. They get SMS. India is one of the few countries who have made all these SMS on a DLT technology, which is blockchain, distributed ledger technology. So the TRI has implemented blockchain to validate all the SMS and the vendors, the bulk vendors on chain. So that's already happening. So if you look at it in that way, when you talk about Web3, everybody is using Web3 in at least the SMS form. Everybody who's accessing SMS, they are using the Web3 in some form. So these framework, these integrations, these technologies are basically making some process better. So for example, land records. Uh, the government of Telangana has already been working on implementing all the land records on a blockchain solution. Uh, if that happens for all the cities in the next probably 5 years, even if people are utilizing land records for sale or purchase, they will be using Web3 without even knowing they are using Web3. So it's like they don't know an application or an app is made in Java. They don't want to know what is the good thing about them knowing that abstraction, that it is programmed in Java. They know how to use an application, they know how to get the data from somewhere. So once the Web3 is like a butterfly, it has span its wings, it will have interaction with most of the industries. It will change the way data is saved, data is stored, and data is utilized. Without people knowing it's Web3, they will be using Web3 in one or the other way. So it is going to impact everybody in the long run because license. So, for example, 5 years down the line, my license is a soul-bound token in my wallet. That's exactly what government is trying to do. I recently uh, heard a radio ad which was about medical records to be saved along with your Aadhar on some government website. I forgot the name of that website, but government has already implemented digital medical records for everybody. All right. Currently, that data is being stored on government servers, right? Right. Eventually, all these data will go to a decentralized server. So there is a good possibility of your license becoming a soul-bound token in your wallet, in your digital data locker, where it's a soul-bound token which shows anybody you have a license. They don't want to know what's a soul-bound token. All they know is this is a digital wallet where they can store such information and show to people when necessary.
Sure.
Everything will have impact of Web3 in the long run without even knowing that's Web3. I mean, you don't know what is Web2. You are using apps. You are not saying I am using a Web2 app. That's not how people talk. They say I'm using Zomato. Uh, Eventually, that's how it's going to be. We don't, at least I don't anticipate people, a regular, a normal person saying, oh, I'm using a Web3 app. I don't anticipate that. They will be using the framework in one way or the other, and they will be using that app. They will be talking about the app, not the way it's used or the framework or using which it's built. That's what my thoughts are.
Absolutely. Do you ever see Aadhaar card or Aadhaar being an NFT, a trustless NFT.
I, I can see Aadhar card being a soul bound token. It cannot be sold, it cannot be changed, it has to be in your wallet. That's how it will define you. Aadhar card is a soul bound token in Web3 space. I see that happening probably in the next 10 years,
Interesting.
or
Okay.
probably hopefully faster, but it is bound to happen.
Okay, let me ask you this question because this is a contested idea, right? And I don't want to get into politics, so let's not get into politics. But do you see within the next 10 years elections happening on blockchain? Because we've always
Absolutely.
we've heard all around the world that a lot of opponents, generally the people who did not win, question the process, like whether you had fake votes or whatever. So is there, do you see within the next 10 years a trustless blockchain voting happening
I
in Indian
see it
politics?
faster than 10 years. Blockchain voting is the best form of voting. All right. It cannot be faked. It cannot be changed. It's immutable. And see, currently there is a major challenge when it comes to voting. Not talking about the politics or something, but when it comes to voting, there is a right now there is a major challenge in how you verify the vote. And there are people who are not able to vote. How do you confirm they want to vote or they are voting in the right process? If I mean, I can always fake a letter for vote, right? So if you have people across the globe and you still want their voting, that's done by blockchain in the best possible way. So I see blockchain replacing the voting process in probably 5 countries in the next 5 years.
Why
All
would
right. I
corrupt
don't.
why would corrupt governments allow that? Because
That's a
essentially
very
they're
good
going to lose
question.
power, right?
That's a very good question. Probably they will not. So not everybody is going to accept everything. There are still ballot happening. There are still a lot of primitive voting processes happening if you see on a different scale. So people are scared of change. Uh, Change will happen. Probably not for everybody. There are still tribes living in some part of the world. They have not accepted change. That's how the societies are. That's how societies are formed. So not everybody will accept change, but a few people will. So blockchain voting will become one of the main ways of voting probably in the next 5 years for a good number of countries. Not all. I am 100% sure not everybody is going to accept it, but a lot of people will accept it. See, right now we are moving towards technology. All the government departments, at least when you talk about India, all the government departments are somehow digital. All right, you can interact with most of the government departments across the state. uh, a city like Jammu has online registration, online renewal process for a license, and that's been there, I think, for the last 5 years, because I remember I renewed my dad's license. So that's basically a good thing to curb corruption. All right. I just spoke about automated street lights. That's basically to reduce the corruption. Now there is no biasness in giving a challan to somebody. If you have crossed the line, it's a non-biased challan. There is nobody who is
For
going to fear or
for
ask, oh, I'm doing that or not. Yes.
sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to clarify for our not Indian viewers, challan is essentially a fine when you create a violation of traffic laws or something. So
Right. So traffic fines basically. So there are so many non-biased approach to achieve a goal, and technology is making sure that's happening more and more. Uh, I think that's how the change will happen. That's how, I mean, the advancement will happen. blockchain voting is the way to go in the long run. People will find some smaller workarounds to corrupt practices, but not for a long time. There will be more. Software is a right way of governing things. I mean, it's unbiased. So if it's done in the right manner, you can utilize the power for it, reduce a lot of people interaction, so a lot of corruption get reduced as well. It's at the end, it's good or probably bad for people. I don't know. That's for everybody to have their own perspective around.
Absolutely. Right, Tushar. So let me ask you this question. As we're talking about the whole adoption of these technologies, right? And we all know how technology can leapfrog um, countries that potentially are not as advanced, and we've seen that in Asia, right? Both China and India are a byproduct of leapfrogging a lot of Western counterparts when it comes to mobile payments or many such other technologies, right? Where even in the Western countries you see a lot of people still using plastic credit cards and debit cards for payments, right? So as you're looking at these technologies, and of course you said that, and we sort of had um as we agreed that a lot of corrupt governments may not take this on board. Do you think that the people that do take this on board, they will enjoy a better economy, a more prosperous economy because of such technological changes?
So I believe blockchain voting, I don't think prosperity is based on the voting. I mean, there will always be a human factor involved in a lot of things. Even if you talk about CBDC, there is, I mean, government understand that the cash has to be replicated, and there will be times when cash doesn't need an ownership of things. I mean, cash behaves like that. You cannot put your name onto $100 note or 100 rupees note. It has to be anonymous because that's how the economy works. So they still have ways in CBDC where you can hold these digital currencies uh, anonymously. So I mean, at the end, there will always be a human factor involved. You cannot uh, make all the societies robotic. Uh, Integration of technology, of course, helps in making things faster. Uh, Movement of data was very important in the old times. So there was a very delayed process. There was a very slow-paced process of that movement of data. Then digitalization happened. Then the ownership of data happened. So eventually, the ownership of data will evolve more. People will want to have their own ownership of their own data. So technology is basically to make things fast paced. This flow of data should be faster. So blockchain voting is one of the fastest way of implementing the vote, and or verified vote, not just any vote, implementing a verified vote. So if I am authenticated on a blockchain, you will always know that this is me who is voting for it. There is nobody else who can do that. All
Sure.
right. So
Absolutely.
that's basically making things faster. That's eliminating a lot of redundancies or some offline ways of voting. Make things faster, get the results faster for things. You don't have to wait for the vote counting. If it's happening on blockchain, you know, right there. So eventually that's going to be the norm. Eventually that's going to be the norm. uh, Hopefully that makes the country prosperous. I really can't tell you that that's going to make it prosperous, but I hope that's one of the ingredient of making a country prosperous.
Absolutely. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you think what's being discussed is nice and you'd like to join the discussion, please comment below. And if you'd like to stay updated, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you. So as you talk about true ownership, that brings me to the next point I want to discuss, which is FiEx Global. You're trying to create an NFT marketplace, and it has aspects of true ownership, right? Why don't you tell us what FiEx Global is? What are you trying to create, and does that already exist right now?
Okay, so the approach to build Fax Global is basically a stepped approach. We cannot have everything in one go. The essential part of building this business the right way was to have a long-term vision, was to have a short-term vision, was to be flexible to work around things and achieve those in the right manner. All right, so that was the intention. We are not some 22 or 23 years old kids who are doing a startup without any experience. We have uh, relevant experience in building businesses, building products. My partner is basically a person with 22 years of experience. He has been a chief financial officer for a chief financial controller for companies like Johnson and Johnson, Stryker Global, very senior guy. He understands how the money is utilized by companies to build them in the right manner. So a vast experienced guy, very smart, my mentor as well. So uh, we basically have a long-term vision and a short-term vision, and it's not something which just came into our mind one day. We have evolved over it. We have understood our direction. We have understood what will be required to reach our goals, what will be required to build this business the right way. uh, there are so everybody is going to talk about 3D products going forward. A lot of people are getting the skill set to create some 3D product, to build something 3D. And now there are a lot of AI products, some interesting tools which are going to help you build these 3D characters or 3D products for metaverse or something. So our first phase is to become a go-to marketplace for anything 3D. All right, and a way to monetize those 3D assets in the metaverse. So this is the difference when you talk about OpenSea, or if you ask me what is the difference between us and OpenSea. OpenSea is it's a global marketplace for buying or selling things. Uh, Ours is basically for very particular to 3D product use case, be it AR, be it VR, be it anything. Eventually, there will be economies which will be created by these 3D products. Uh, that's where our marketplace lies, to help all the creators who are building something into 3D using Unreal Engine, using 3D Studio Max. They get a way of monetizing what they have created. There are some Web 2 versions of this, but there is no Web 3 version of this. We want to give them a way to see their 3D products and to monetize it in the right way as well in the long run. Uh, by monetizing, I don't mean only sale and purchase. It can also help you rent your 3D products or use them for advertising and get something out of it in the long run. So that's a complete ecosystem we are building, which involves a 3D world, which we believe the best way to make a 3D world is by making it open source. So we are going to launch an open source product soon, plus our marketplace for anybody who calls themselves a creator and working on anything on 3D. So that's our core product, something into 3D, which can be utilized on AR or VR in the long run. And we provide them a way to sell, buy, or monetize it in the long run.
Okay, Tushar, let me ask you this. You said that you have a marketplace for 3D items. Is FiEx Global itself a 3D company?
So essentially, if you look at it from a UI perspective, UI or UX perspective, it's very similar to OpenSea, but along with that, you have a camera which you can use to view the complete 3D object using the AR. So that's how we see the product. That's how we make it. I mean, it's not launched yet. We are going to launch our first beta version probably soon. It's almost complete, but not launched yet. And because of a lot of bear market things, so we decided we need to delay our things. Uh, but at the end, I see it as a place where anybody can go see or buy 3D products. If you ask us if we are a 3D company, I mean, I don't know. We have created 3D avatars. We have products which are going into that direction. uh, we want people to use these the tools which are available at their disposal uh, to build anything and get it rightly monetized using our marketplace, which helps you visualize the product as well. So if you don't have a way, we have the way for you.
Absolutely. So, Tushar, that brings us to the final part of the interview, which is rapid fire questions. Um, I love this section, and let me just start off with a few questions. Um, from the position that you are sitting at, do you think the whole Web3 and Metaverse race is going to be won by big tech? Or do you think that it's going to be won by companies like Sandbox or Upland, and why?
Everybody has a place in an ecosystem. You cannot survive without a competition when it comes to an idea. The idea can be built when a lot of people are working in that direction. So I don't think that they will not have, everybody will have their own space. There will be products which will just create the use case in the right manner. Probably it won't be accepted in the long run, but at least they will create a way forward for things. For example, Pokemon Go, that was an unconventional game when it launched. Using AR, you will be going to places, you will be exerting yourself to figure out things, walk to find things. So that was a new way of people uh, integrating with the technology, utilizing it for fun. Uh, the the canvas is still empty. People are still creating their own use cases, trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work, what is the right way of doing things. So a lot of things basically are still being tested and experimented upon. So everybody will have their own place in the long run here, at least for the beginning. They built this industry. Uh, Even if they go down, there will still be new players coming up to fill the hole, because we are in a very early stages. People are still trying to understand and build ideas around.
Absolutely, Tushar. So, Tushar, let me ask you this question. What, according to your opinion, and we all know that what created crypto's mass adoption was the global disease of 2020, which we can't name because of YouTube policy. But per your experience, what is going to be the trigger that is going to create mass adoption of Metaverse and Web3?
uh, Metaverse, the trigger has already been placed. I mean, Facebook changing its name to Meta, I think, was the biggest trigger, at least for this to make it mainstream. I mean, there is no other way. I was reading somewhere, somebody said crypto will be the trigger for metaverse to go mainstream. Even crypto is not mainstream. So at least for the metaverse side, that trigger has already been done. For crypto, it's a gradual process. I don't think it's like a sudden movement where everybody will accept it. People will take their own time to squeeze into it. It is a time consuming process. It will take more time.
Sure. What brings e-commerce to Metaverse?
It's the next best step. I mean, so far, whatever you buy, you are buying it in looking at a 2D format. You look at a video or a JPEG to understand the product, and then you buy. Metaverse is the immersive way of showing a product in a 3D way. So that's the ideally that's the next intelligent step for anybody to adapt, so that they have a higher usability of product, lesser returns probably.
Absolutely. Who will win, AR or VR, and why?
Uh, Personally, if you ask me, I believe AR has a bigger use case than VR. People want to view the world from a lens, not from a screen. So I think AR will win.
Absolutely. Um, what is the future of the metaverse when it comes to immersiveness? Is it VR headsets or is it holographic projections?
First VR headset, and then probably to figure out how the holographic projection can work without some medium.
Okay. Um, so let me ask you this, Tushar. Is the internet bandwidth all across the world fast enough for Metaverse and Web3's mass adoption right now?
Uh, See, I think for the metaverse to be accepted by everybody, you need higher internet speed, of course. That's why metaverse has been a concept for a long time. That's why it never came into existence, because the speed wasn't there. With the integration of 5G now, so it was recently launched in India. I think we are at that speed where it is on an acceptable limit. It will not. I mean, you are not like you are watching a 3D AR guy and it's like buffering. So with 5G, that's not going to happen. And I believe the faster the internet speed goes and the more common internet becomes, yes, a higher reach of metaverse will be there.
Absolutely. Um, So let me ask you this question, Tushar. We all know what's happening with the US-China trade war, right? And TSMC is right smack in the middle of it over semiconductor chips. So is this war or is this fight for the domination of semiconductor industry going to impact the Web3 and metaverse industry?
So see, with higher graphic processors, you need these semiconductors. So you need a higher processing power to achieve these kind of things. And of course, it's a gradual process. We come from very slow processors to like mobile phone, which are faster than the PCs right these days. So of course, there will be challenges. Uh, there will be some effects of the war which is happening on semiconductors, but long term the consumer has to win. So these products have to get into the market. That's how the right monetization happen. These are all small time problems which will be fixed in the long run. There will be new players in the market, and there will be the balance of power will always be there. So I don't think the war on some being a, uh competitor in an industry is going to make a problem for the consumer industry. It might delay a bit, but it will never be a problem for the consumerism, because at the end, people have to consume what's being made. If it's not happening, then there is no use of the semiconductors. So at the end, the balance will remain.
Okay. Let me ask you a specific question for FiEx Global. Are you going to accept debit card and credit card payments at FiEx Global, or is it only going to be crypto?
No, we want the INR integration. We want the fiat money integration. We want the card integration. I know it's going to be a painful process because the laws aren't supportive right now, but that's all right. I mean, that's how the beginning phase happens. So once the acceptability is there, it will be easier. But I mean, we are there, so we are okay in going through the painful process.
So
Even if that
potentially,
means having more compliances, that's all right.
potentially someone could buy an NFT or essentially a 3D avatar using their Paytm.
Not just avatar, anything actually. So, for example, you are building your 3D world and you need a 3D sofa. You go to the marketplace, you buy a 3D sofa, and you place it there. So, anything you want to do it, of course, Paytm, UPI, Paytm, everything is required. We want to have those integration, and we want to be compliant for those integration to happen.
Absolutely. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you think what's being discussed is nice and you'd like to join the discussion, please comment below. And if you'd like to stay updated, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you. Are you worried about the digital assets bill that is there within the parliament?
Absolutely not. Uh, all these bills at the end of the day define a framework. So without a framework, a business cannot thrive. I mean, they can survive, they cannot thrive. So you need a framework. This bill is going to provide a good framework for everybody to sustain in the industry and build from India for the world. I don't think that bill is going to be harmful for the industry. I think it's going to be supportive. And see, at the end, government's agenda is to safeguard the investor. The if the, FTX basically told everybody that how important is to safeguard the investor. That's exactly what the government of India wants. So I believe the bill should be in the right manner. I don't think they are looking to ban it again because that's already happened. So regulating it will make more sense for the industry, more sense for the adoption.
All right. Should Metaverse and Web3 technology ownership be anonymous?
You have the power of, I mean, you have the option. You should always have the option.
Okay. Um,
I mean, it's right, but it's not anonymous. You know, this is the wallet. You don't know who holds the wallet. So at least you things are accounted for. And when it comes to digital asset, that's what's going to matter in the long run.
Absolutely. In your personal space, you're also an angel investor. So let me ask you this question. Are VCs investing enough in Metaverse and Web3?
Was talking to somebody on the same lines yesterday. Web2 VCs, at least for the next 3, 4, 5 months, they will not be looking into most of the Web3 projects. The reason is they already have their own deal flows lined up. So they are not that keen on things which can go to zero. They will still be understanding how the dynamics works in the industry. uh, Web3 VCs, yes, they will be investing because that's how they earn the money in the first place. So they will be investing. They understand the value of Web3. That's why they are there. So it'll happen on either of the sides. Web2 VCs, no. Web3 VCs, yes. By being a VC means you have to invest in companies. You cannot sit on the money. So investing is a very important aspect of being a VC. They cannot hold the investment for a long time because there are no returns then. So they have to invest. They will keep on investing. Investing is still happening every day. Uh, there are, I think there are some resources I follow. I see at least 10 to 20 million dollar investment happening every day for the last 5 months. So it's happening. It is going to grow once there is a sustainability. Once there is a legal framework, there will be higher investment. You can compare the same with the drone industry. Till the time drone wasn't structured, nobody was investing. Now everybody is looking for a drone company to invest in.
Absolutely. Um, Let me ask you this question. Who should be responsible if a crime is committed in the Metaverse or Web3?
I can tell you who should be responsible for not making this happen is software. So if something is happening on the software side, that can always be fixed by a software. So I think having some software laws for the metaverse, which should be abided by all the metaverse, that's how you stop these crimes. Metaverse is something where you can stop it. Probably you cannot stop a crime in real life, but in the metaverse you can at least right when it's happening. So software can do that. Uh, who should be responsible? I don't have a particular right answer for it.
Absolutely. Um, so let me ask you a specific question to FiEx Global. As we all know, India is a land of a lot of cultures, a lot of artisans, and this also grow, goes back to the fact that a lot of rural India is full of artisans, right? There's a lot of art that comes out of rural India. So, do you think, as an NFT marketplace, it makes sense to onboard these artisans so that they can showcase their talent to perhaps a global world that has not seen their talent, at least on the digital space, because they've been missing out on web 1 and web 2, right? But they now have this opportunity to come on board web 3. So do you see that as an opportunity, as a niche that you're going to carve out for yourself?
Uh, I'll tell you how there is a different way how people should perceive NFT marketplace. NFT is basically a technology or tool to uh, prove ownership or define ownership. All right, NFT in itself isn't valuable. It's just a way of defining ownership, that who owns this particular piece. I do, or you do, or somebody does. So NFT marketplace is just the right way of ownership, where the person who has created it is getting a long term benefit. Now when you talk about artisans, we need to understand that there should be more marketplaces which are giving access to these people. Ownership is right. They can sell the same art on probably Amazon. They can sell the same art probably on our own website, which is the Writings on the Wall, which is supporting a lot of artisans. But you can sell the art in different ways. Just because you are launching an NFT, ideally, it doesn't mean that your art should be placed higher. Right now, there is a hype. NFT sales are basically hype driven. That's why a lot of value is being transferred and transacted. But in the long run, it's about the art. Why will somebody buy it, and what is the perceived value of things? That's defined in a different manner. NFT will not be the thing which will define the value of your art, but it will definitely define the ownership of the art. So right now it's just frenzy. Eventually the dust will settle. People will understand how to figure out the right value for the things which are being sold as NFTs. NFT as such shouldn't have a value.
So, as you rightly correctly pointed out, these people could sell this on Amazon or any of the other competing platforms, right? So, as a channel of e-commerce, essentially what you're trying to do, um, how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as poaching these sellers, or do you think that they would rather sell that on Amazon per se?
For FiEx Global, I don't think it's about poaching anyone. I think it's about giving a way for anybody to monetize the right way. So if you have an art, you can always put it up on a display and get it monetized properly. Uh, these artists, so we see everybody as a creator of things. So if you create something, we have a place where you can come, sell, monetize, rent, advertise however you want. We offer that place, and we call everybody a creator. So be it artisans, be it 3D designers, be it graphic designers, Anybody who's to do something with the 3D world, they can come and put their products there. Poaching is not something in the right manner, because I mean we don't want artisans to sell it directly. We want them to build something for 3D in different ways and monetize it properly.
Absolutely. Um, Finally, let me ask you, when can we expect FiEx Global to be public?
uh, Things got delayed because of the bear market things, but hopefully in the first quarter of 2023, you will get to see a lot of interesting things from FiEx Global.
Absolutely. And when you do that, do come back, and we'd love to hear from you. However, we can keep talking for hours and hours, but we know you have other engagements. So with that, Tushar, it's been an honor to have you on Reading Between the Lines with Andaman on episode 10. Uh, Before we end this interview, I just end with the quote that I always say: "You be the arbiter of truth, the viewers of the Metaverse Street Journal." Tushar, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I hope I was able to add value. Thank
Absolutely. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you think what's being discussed is nice and you'd like to join the discussion, please comment below. And if you'd like to stay updated, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you.